Your brain has been silently judging every decision you've ever made, and it's been building a case against you this whole time. No, seriously. Right now, as you're watching this, a part of your brain is running a background program, like malware you never consented to install, that's been tracking your wins, your losses, your broken promises, and your embarrassing moments from 2009 that you thought you forgot. This isn't metaphor. This is neuroscience. And here's the wild part. This system doesn't just affect how you feel about yourself. It controls what jobs you apply for, who you think you deserve to date, how much money you believe you're allowed to make. It's basically your brain's invisible credit score. And most people have no idea it exists, so let's talk about it. Because once you understand this system, you can actually hack it. Curiosity loop when opens. Okay, so here's where it starts getting weird. Scientists have known for decades that the brain tracks social hierarchies. It's evolutionary. Knowing your rank in the group meant the difference between getting food and getting left behind. But here's what they didn't realize until recently. Your brain tracks your rank against yourself. Let that sink in. There's a structure deep in your brain called the Anterior Cingulate Cortex. Let's just call it the ACC. And its job is to monitor something researchers call prediction error. Every time you do something, your brain predicts what should happen, and then it checks what actually happened. The gap between those two things? That's the score. Did you do what you said you'd do? +1. Did you bail on the gym again? -1. Did you snap at someone you care about? The ACC logs it. Did you surprise yourself by nailing that presentation? Huge plus. And here's the thing. This isn't conscious. You're not sitting there tabulating. Your brain is doing it automatically, constantly, like a fitness tracker you can never take off. Pattern interrupt. But wait. It gets so much weirder. The currency your brain uses to keep score. It's not logic. It's not even memory exactly. It's emotion. Specifically, it's the ratio of dopamine to cortisol you've been experiencing. When you follow through on something, even something tiny, your brain gets a small dopamine hit. When you break a self-promise, you get a cortisol spike. Over time, this ratio becomes your emotional baseline, your set point, your sense of whether you are fundamentally a person who can do things or a person who can't. And this is where it gets genuinely unsettling. Neuroscientists have found that people with chronically low self-trust, meaning they've broken so many promises to themselves that the ACC is basically running a deficit, those people show measurably different brain activity when faced with opportunities. They unconsciously self-sabotage, not because they're weak, not because they're broken, but because their brain has learned that they don't follow through. So it doesn't even bother generating the motivation to try. Your brain has essentially given you a bad credit score. And just like a bad financial credit score, it affects every transaction, every decision, every risk you're willing to take. Curiosity loop when closes, loop 2 opens. Okay, but here's the question you should be asking right now. Can you fix it? Can you rebuild a brain credit score? Short answer, yes. And the method is completely backwards from what you'd expect. Most people, when they feel like they've lost momentum, go big. New year, new me, giant goals, total life overhaul. And every single time the brain goes, nope, we've seen this movie. We know how it ends. The goal is too big, the prediction error fires in the wrong direction, and the score stays low. The actual neuroscience-backed fix? Stupidly small wins. I'm talking embarrassingly small. Neuroscientist Andrew Huberman and others studying dopamine regulation have consistently found that the brain doesn't care about the size of the win. It cares about the completion of a prediction. You said you'd do something. You did it. Dopamine. Score goes up. So if you said you'd work out for an hour and did nothing, that's -1. But if you said you'd do 1 push-up and you did it, that's +1. Same brain. Different score. This is why wildly successful people are obsessive about tiny habits. Not because tiny habits magically make you productive, but because they're literally reprogramming the brain's internal credit system. Pattern interrupt. Now, here's the money angle. Because, of course, there's a money angle. Researchers studying financial decision-making found something remarkable. The single biggest predictor of whether someone will invest, negotiate a raise, or start a business isn't their intelligence, their resources, or even their knowledge of finance. It's their self-efficacy score, which is just a fancy academic term for their brain's internal credit score. People who have trained their ACC through consistent self-trust are neurologically more willing to take calculated risks because their brain has evidence, actual neural evidence, that when they commit to something, outcomes tend to be positive. And people who haven't, they often make what behavioral economists call loss-averse decisions, staying in bad jobs, avoiding investments, underselling themselves, because at some level their brain is saying, "We don't have a track record here. Don't risk it." Your brain's credit score is literally setting a ceiling on your income. Curiosity, loop 2 closes, loop 3 opens. Okay, so we've covered how the score works, what it costs you, and how tiny wins rebuild it. But here's the part nobody talks about. Some of the entries in your brain's ledger aren't even yours. Here's what I mean. The brain's scoring system doesn't only log your personal actions, it also absorbs what other people repeatedly told you about yourself. Parents, teachers, ex-partners, coaches. The brain, especially during childhood, treats external feedback as data points in the same ledger. So someone who was told constantly that they were lazy, that they couldn't do math, that they weren't athletic, their ACC starts running those predictions on autopilot. The brain goes, historically, when we attempt this kind of thing, the outcome is negative. Better not try. And now here's the part that might genuinely change how you see yourself. That voice in your head that says, "You're not good enough." A lot of the time, it's not you. It's a cached memory of someone else's voice that your brain absorbed and filed as objective data. It is not objective data, it is someone else's bad data in your system. Neuroscience calls this process internalized prediction modeling. I call it running someone else's software on your hardware. Pattern interrupt, big reveal. And this is where it all snaps together. Your brain is keeping score. The score shapes your confidence. Your confidence shapes your decisions. Your decisions shape your outcomes. And your outcomes feed back into the score. It's a loop. A closed loop. And from the outside, it looks like just who you are. But it's not. It's a system. And systems can be debugged. The 3-step override that neuroscientists actually recommend? 1. Audit the ledger. Get conscious about what promises you're making to yourself, even tiny ones. Write them down. Because what you can measure, you can manage. 2. Shrink the promises until you can't fail. Not smaller goals, smaller entries into the ledger. Your brain doesn't need a marathon, it needs a daily walk. 50 small wins will outperform 5 massive failed attempts every single time. 3. Reject the inherited entries. When that internal voice fires off a "you can't do this," get curious. Ask, is this mine? Is this based on my behavior? Or is this cached feedback from someone who never had to live my life? Because here's the actual mind-blowing punchline to all of this. You are not your brain's current credit score. You are the underwriter. You get to decide what new data goes in. Closing loop. And if that just shifted something for you, wait until you hear about the other invisible system your brain runs that's even more powerful than this one. A glitch in human cognition that makes you literally unable to see your own blind spots. No matter how smart or self-aware you think you are. That's the next one. And trust me, you'll want to stick around for it. If this broke your brain a little, good. That means it's working. Drop a comment. What's one tiny promise you're making to yourself right now? The ACC is listening,